Hey y'all, welcome back. So this is the second episode of my Getting Social series where I go meet with semi-local photography groups and do photo walks or meetups or anything of the sort. As I've mentioned before in other episodes, typically photography is more of a solo thing for me, so I made a resolution this year to get out and do more with photography, but social, just be in some groups, talk to people, do some art shows. So back in February, the Central Florida Photography Club announced that they would be doing a photo walk in Lakeland, Florida. They would be starting at a local art museum and ending up at Florida Southern College campus. And that sounded really awesome to me. I actually had a new lens I wanted to try out. This one right here. It's a Sakar 28mm f2.8, I want to say. And I normally shoot with a 35mm, so I was very interested to see what that different focal length would do for me. But let this be a lesson to you guys. Never bring an untested piece of equipment to a place that you're really excited to shoot because, well, shit happens. Now, obviously, you can see the length of the video. I did get some photos. They were just a bit different than expected. The lens has some distinct fall off around the edges where everything gets really blurry, especially at anything even close to the bottom of its range. Now, I was shooting a lot at f8, but even with that, you would notice it a good bit. Now, this can be a look that you can go after, and honestly, I've been thinking about using the lens again, knowing that it does this, but not knowing it, and then getting those photos back, I was a little disappointed, but I've actually really learned to love these photos after a little while. You know, they're not my normal style of hyper dramatic focus, at least with film photography. I like them nonetheless, and it was a super cool day, so we're gonna show them. But let's go ahead and move on. I was finishing up a roll of Cinestill 800T that I only had a couple photos left, but so I also brought a roll of Cinestill 400D and Fujifilm Fuji 400, which is a staple for me ever since I started shooting film. My wife was coming with me on this trip, so we both grabbed our cameras and we headed out the door. On the way down, we needed to stretch our legs, so we made a little pit stop in this town called Webster. Basically, we were passing by what looked to be like an older service station, but now just kind of looked like a home for vintage signs. Either way, super eye-catching, and I wanted to stop and take some photos. With these two photos, I wasn't sure which angle I really wanted, so I kept both in. I really like the way 800T handles the daylight. It gives it a really unique look. You know, when I first got this roll back, I thought maybe the film had some light leak issues, being a cinema film. But now I know it is the camera. But only after I shot a couple more rolls through it, and they all came back with the same problem. So then we headed to Lakeland. We actually got to the group on time, but they were rip-raring to go. But I was able to snag these couple shots of the outside of the museum. I really love this shot. I think the colors and angles all just hit right. By this point, I had already swapped over the 400D, and this might be the first time I've ever really liked 400D, at least that I've shot. Is it a coincidence that it's also the first time that I self-scanned it at home? Probably not. The group was not quite as large as our last meetup, but there were a few familiar faces that it was cool seeing. Also, I was able to use Savannah as a way to reintroduce myself, as I'm not usually the best with names, and she's just so socially awesome. This is one of my favorite shots inside the museum. The lighting is really nice, creating a ton of cool shadows all around that statue. But you can already see what I mean when I'm talking about the fall off around the center and that blurriness that shows up. We started to make our way through the museum, and I won't go into too much detail here, as you should probably just go yourself, but it was all very nice and extremely varied. They had a ton of exhibitions, which was really cool. And here we go. This shot was made at a very low shutter speed, so it probably wouldn't have been great either way, but the edge blurriness of the lens made it so much more. It's a shame, really. I really liked the framing and the colors, and oh well. Yeah, that's really cool. Savannah is always a favorite subject of mine to photograph, even if the photos don't turn out the way I was intending. This stairway caught everybody at one point or another on this trip. It was almost like a photographer trap.
What is this? A museum for ants?
Thank you.
There was this really great photography exhibit that we all loved. It had a ton of really cool portraits of a bunch of like jazz musicians by this awesome photographer named Herman Leonard. It was super, super cool. Like most museums, this one was very aesthetically pleasing and had this big, beautiful window overlooking the outside tree canopy. A favorite from the day. I really love how the staircase extends beyond the frame, giving you just a segment of the story, and not to mention all those leading lines and shadows everywhere. It's one of my favorite of the day for sure.
This guy, the nature form necklaces and porcelain. Oh. Okay.
Wow.
That's beautiful. Oh, and it comes with a few glass beads.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's super cool.
After that, a few of the photo group headed off, and the rest of us decided to go ahead and start walking towards the college campus. There were a couple neighborhood blocks to get through, but it was still really nice, and it broke up the day in a really cool way.
Game on.
I know it's hard to see, but there was this cat chilling on the bench, another well-laid photography trap. So on the way down to this trip, me and Savannah were talking about what we were doing, and she brings up the college and goes, "Oh, is that the one that has all those Frank Lloyd Wright buildings?" And I was surprised she knew. And she goes, "I was actually going to take you there for your birthday this year, potentially." I am a huge architecture nerd and a big fan of Frank Lloyd Wright's, and I had no idea that this place was only 2-3 hours from our home, but she had found it and she was going to take me. So either way, I got to go, but I felt a little bad that I had to take that from her. You know, I've even been inside one of Frank Lloyd Wright's houses before. There was one in a museum in Arkansas I went to that was absolutely stunning, but it was nothing like what we were about to get into. We walked up on this administrative building and I was already at a loss for words. And that wasn't even close to the coolest thing that we were gonna see. There is just something about 60s modern architecture like Frank Lloyd Wright's that just gets me. I just love it. Maybe it's the natural photographer instinct of really enjoying dramatic angles and leading lines. I don't know, but I immediately loved this place. Florida Southern College is actually a relatively small private school founded in the late 1800s, but it has the world's largest single-site collection of Frank Lloyd Wright buildings. The entire collection is named Children of the Sun, which was a name given to it by Wright when he started removing what he called uninspired buildings off the existing campus and replacing them with buildings that, according to Wright, grow out of the ground and into the light, a child of the sun. So fucking cool. You can keep doing it. Just getting B-roll.
B-roll. Where the bees go.
Where the bees go. Where the bees go. These low-ceiling walkways were some of my favorite parts of the day. A lot of Frank Lloyd Wright buildings have notoriously low ceilings as he designed them around his height of like 5'8". Another favorite of the day. The low ceilings provide such a dramatic look to everything, and the light was just poking through. Add to it a few members of the photo group, and it makes this picture worth it.
They only let you go to that one with the highest
My brother was there. I know.
At this point, I had run through my roll of Cinestill 400D, so I switched over to my roll of Fujifilm Fuji 400. It's annoying. One thing I really love about Fuji 400 is how vivid those reds get. They just pop, like with this red door. Even though it is so small in the frame, it is absolutely the most eye-catching thing and makes the photo. There was actually a softball game going on as we were there, so we stopped to watch a few minutes.
Yeah? Gonna have to. A good time.
The last stop of the day was this pretty unique building that a janitor led us into. It was this almost, I don't even know how to describe it, almost cafeteria-like, with a ton of like round tables and chairs everywhere. We were even told that the building originally had no roof and was given one later, and it gave it this really unique look. After that, we took a big group photo, said our goodbyes, said we'd see you next time, and that was that. We headed home. You know, I really love these meetups and getting social and getting out there and talking about photography with people and not just holding up in my own, I don't know, just habits. And the club even inspired me to start my own here in Gainesville. I called it the Photo Collective of Gainesville, and we did our first photo walk last month, and it was fucking awesome. As always, Thank you so much for watching this video, supporting my photography adventures. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever even heard of this college, or big Frank Lloyd Wright fan and there's another one that I'm missing that's even closer to Gainesville. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more film photography adventures if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all next time.